We'll call the Town of Lake Clark Shores Code Enforcement Board hearing together tonight at on January 24th, 6:30 p.m. Emily, could you please call roll?
Chair Paul Hughes,
Present.
Vice Chair George Sanchez,
Present.
Board Member Ariel Hernandez, Board Member Deb Moody,
Present.
Board Member Wesley Cook.
Present.
We'll stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Bill.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries. We'll now do the consent agenda, which includes the minutes of the December 6th meeting, any unfinished cases now in compliance, and any new cases now in compliance. Are there any additions or amendments to the minutes of our last meeting?
None.
Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. Unfinished cases now in compliance. Eric?
Yes, starting on page 1, case 23-0577 is now in full compliance. Page 2, case 23-0578 is in full compliance. Case 23-0579 is in full compliance. Case 23-0580 is in full compliance. Case 23-0581 is in full compliance. Page 3, case 23-0677 is in full compliance. Case 23-0678 is in full compliance. Case 23-0679 is in full compliance. Page 4, case 23-0680 is now in full compliance. Case 23-0518 is, sorry, that one's still in violation. Case 23-0955 is now in full compliance. And let me check. And that completes it for the compliance.
Okay, so that was unfinished and new cases in compliance, correct?
There was one that I missed on page 4. Case 23-0454. That one's actually not in compliance. I don't know if I said that one was, so let me just correct
No.
myself if I did. So that one is still not in compliance.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended?
So moved.
Some, I'll
Sure.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I'll remind the board, if any of you have been by any of the cases that will, properties that will come before us tonight, if you would please disclose that at the time of our discussion, or any of you that have had discussions with any of the property owners. If any of you all are going to speak before the meeting tonight, at the meeting, if you would please stand and be sworn in by the board's attorney. You all are going to speak? Okay.
Okay, looks like everybody's up. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I think we're on page 4. Eric,
Well, we still have to hear the cases. Some of the cases that are in compliance had a fine
Oh.
running.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
So
sure.
we actually have one of the property owners here. So could we please start on page 3 for property 7026 Pine Tree Lane for cases 23-0677, 23-0678, 23-0679, and 23-068.
Yes, Emily, thank you for
All right.
reminding me. Okay, Eric?
All right, so good evening. I'm Code Enforcement Officer Eric Richwagon with the Town of Lake Clark Shores. So for these cases, there are new property owners. This case was, the violations were initially issued back in September. The new property owner reached out to us about a month and a half ago. Manny, the building inspector, went out there, did a full inspection. 3 out of 4 of the violations were found to not be necessary. And for the structural permit that was needed, it was very minimal. So after speaking with Manny on this, we both agree that a full dismissal of this one, because they did pull the permits. Manny, do you have so Manny's got a copy of the letter from.
Manny Palacios, zoning officer, building department. I went out on that last Thursday and met with the architect or the engineer and walked through the addition that's in question. And we did, in fact, I did not find anything that was in violation other than the fact that they enclosed a screen patio in the back. In order to eliminate any kind of problems with the structure as opposed to having them tear it down, I required that they provide us with a letter from a structural engineer. And the letter did say that his inspection did say that the structure was in accordance with the Florida Building Code and it didn't compromise any part of the house. So at this time, as Eric mentioned, it was such a small project. It's unfortunate that they didn't know that the permit was required for that enclosure, but I just felt that it's just such a small area. There was I think they're going to use it for storage or something.
Eric?
Yes.
Was this first noticed in early August of 2023?
Yeah, so let me pull the file. So there was a transition period where the old property owners had sold the property and the new property owners had taken over. So during that time period, there was a transition. But let me pull the file for you. The first notices were issued in June. So on 6/23/2023, the initial notice of violations were issued, and the notice of hearings were issued on 8/11/2023.
So would not the new property owners have known when they purchased the property?
No, because they had already purchased the property, and them being the new homeowners, the violations were issued to them. The issue why we didn't have contact, the property owner who I've spoken to, she is a traveling doctor who wasn't here for most of the time. When she did come back, she realized that there were violations. She's been in constant communication along with the property manager. Once they found out about this, they reached out to the building department, reached out to Manny, got the inspections done pretty quickly, Manny, right? Yeah. So
When would they have discussed this with you, the new property owners?
what was that?
When did they approach you?
When did they approach you? Yeah.
Roughly 2 months ago.
This was noticed
In June of 20.
June of 23. When was the property purchased?
That would have been in June.
Okay, so with these people the owners when they were noticed?
They were they were given the notice of violation on 6/23/2023.
Okay,
There was no communication up until a few months ago, but as discussed, when I did reach out to the property owner, well, when she reached out to me finally, she let me know what her job was and that she's a traveling doctor, and her property manager was the one who also reached out to Manny and got this taken care of relatively quickly.
And who actually did the work? Was it the current owner or the previous owner, the
It-
seller?
It was the current owners.
So I'm not sure what the sale, the transfer, of the
Transfer was done.
what does that have to do with
Nothing.
what are the previous?
No, it was just that, so the property was sold, the new property owners came in the same month. As she was in the process of moving in, the violations were issued and she was,
But
out
who
of the state.
caused the violations? I'm sorry. Was it the,
it was the new property owners. They were doing what used to be a screened enclosure room and they were putting it into a fully enclosed room.
We had a lien hearing on August 11th,
I believe that's correct.
and the property owner was notified of the lien hearing.
All violations and notice of hearings were posted to the property and sent out by mail.
Okay. So, and now we sit here 5 months later,
Yes.
and it's finally come into compliance. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Well, it's come in full compliance and also 3 out of 4 of the violations after Manny was able to do his inspection were found that they didn't need to exist. So that's why 3 out of 4 can be dismissed. And because of structural work based on Manny's testimony, because it was so minimal, that's why I believe it would be fair to actually dismiss this one. They paid the permit fees, they got the inspections, they provided Manny with a letter. I believe they did everything possible. It did take them a while to contact us, but based on what her job is, and once she did come back into the state and how quickly she reached out, and even now they're putting up a fence. I'm in constant correspondence via email. So now that I've met them and have had contact, her and the property manager are keeping me up to date with anything they're doing.
Was there electrical work done?
No, so no electrical, no plumbing, and no mechanical.
Nothing. No, just the only thing they did was remove the screening, they enclosed that screened-in section in the
so-
rear, and that was it.
why did we think that there was mechanical and electrical and
Well, when you enclose something and it looks like it's part of the house, automatically, you would put the electric, AC, sink and stuff like that. It's the respondent's responsibility to show us that they did not do that. That's why we're automatically, when you enclose something like that, we go with the electrical, plumbing, the whole stuff.
oh, so, okay.
And so even though the property owner may not have been on site, didn't they have a property manager or someone that was there? I think I heard you say that.
Yeah, we do have the property manager here, if he wants to give a little more information. Sir, do you want to speak?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Come on up to the microphone if you would, please, and give us your name.
Manny Gonzalez, how are you?
Good thing.
Hi.
The owner didn't get proper notice in the mail. We corresponded with the city once she moved in on Thanksgiving is when she finally came into the house. And that's when she noticed the posting on the outside of and that's the time frame that you guys are
Yes.
questioning. And that's why, when she saw that, then we called the police department because it said police department, and we noticed it was a violation. So
That's correct.
as soon as we got that, we tackled
Who was there supervising the enclosure of that room?
I was.
Okay, so you didn't
Yeah,
notice
we
that
didn't-
the
we didn't
property was
think it needed-
posted?
I'm sorry?
Manny's, sorry, but
Eric.
Officer Richwagon said that they had posted the property as well as sending out the notice by mail.
Yeah, but the owners weren't at the house. She was not at the house.
But you were there?
No. I was contacted by her on Thanksgiving when she got the notice.
But you were supervising the enclosure of the
The
space.
Closure, yes, because her mom had moved in as well.
So someone was living at the property.
Her mom,
Her
correct.
mom was
Correct.
living there.
Correct.
But didn't notice that the property had been posted by the city?
Mm-mm. In fact, the mailing, supposedly they sent it to the wrong address. It was 7027 Pine Tree Lane. That's what we got word of.
Okay, but
So we never
usually
got the mail.
if they post a notice on the property, even if you have a
It was just
rental tenant,
sitting there. It was just sitting there with the tape. We didn't realize, she usually comes around the side door, so it was just sitting there the whole time. Believe me, we'd gotten it earlier, they would have tackled it. So
did,
there's no,
Did you do the enclosure work or did you hire a contractor to do it?
We did it, yeah,
Okay, so
with the engineer, you know, with, you know,
And when did you do that? When did you begin the enclosure work?
I don't have exact dates, I can't remember.
No,
But you did it for the new owners, so it couldn't have
Yeah, it
been
was-
before June.
It was
Right.
recently, yeah. It
so
was,
July, somewhere in June, July,
yeah,
somewhere in there?
Yeah.
And you didn't know you had to have a permit to do that? Did
No.
you know that?
No.
Did you check with the town? to see
I
if
did
you
not,
needed a
no, I
permit?
did not. It's basically a screen patio and you just
Covering it
covering it.
with what? With what? Just
I
drywall?
mean, it's just, the existing structure itself is not
So you did the aluminum work
hindered.
and the screening. Anything else?
you installed windows?
No.
No windows?
No, in fact, they probably want to demolish the house because it was built in 1955 as an older home and build a whole new, brand new house is what the owner's intention is.
Is the house homesteaded?
Yes,
It is, okay.
yes, sir.
Board
We're
members,
forward to building a nice big 2-story home there.
board members, if I may, the enclosure area is relatively very small. It's understandable where the mistake could have been made because of the smallness of the construction area. I could see where that could possibly be. I mean, if it was a from side to side type of connection, I can understand that would, anybody would know then you've got to get a permit. But I could see a mistake being made
So-
by,
So roughly how many square feet do you think?
I would say 10 feet by maybe a little bit more than,
10 by 8, probably the wall.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's very small.
That's 100 square feet. Mhm.
Less than.
So it sounds to me as though the only citation that we will be talking about is 0677. Is that correct?
Yes. That's for the structural work.
That's correct.
without a
That's
permit.
the structural work. Has there been any other structural work done without a permit on this property?
I mean, are you talking about
The history.
this stream? Well, there's a new case about a fence, but we're currently talking about this particular case.
So even through all this, some more work is being done without a permit. Is that correct?
There was a fence that's been put up. They have gone ahead and applied for the permits for the fence.
A small fence portion was put up only because the rear neighbors are putting in a pool and they took down their fence and our pets, you know,
But did you install a fence?
it's a small fence.
Did you install it?
Yes,
So you installed it backwards, is that right?
no,
No?
Yeah, and I don't think he understands what backwards means. He put the good side
Facing.
in when it should be facing out. That's what, so he doesn't, yeah, he did put it in.
yeah, it's just a
Backward.
temporary fence that we put in for the pets not to leave the property.
Okay.
And we've applied for the permit to fence in the whole, if we're gonna put a whole new fence.
Well, I don't understand why you didn't know there was a permit required to work
For
in,
the fence?
no, for the building.
No, it's not a building. It's just taking,
Okay,
Portion?
the enclosure.
there's nothing structural about it. The structure is there. There was nothing structural.
But to put up the aluminum for the screening, you did that and you
Right.
put up the screening and you didn't know that a permit was required for that, is what you're saying.
Not for that small portion of, you know, it's just,
And there is a permit required for that.
For what was done, yes. Once Manny was able to do the
Okay.
inspection, did the walkthrough and saw that it needed, and they went ahead and pulled the permit. They paid the additional fees for the permit.
So unfortunately, the property owner depended on you
yeah.
to notice for a permit and you didn't do that.
You can say that.
Unless,
I didn't check.
unless it was the owner's responsibility.
I didn't check, yeah. I
Yeah.
didn't check with the town.
Okay.
We're working close with the town now, so.
So from a process standpoint, as Wes mentioned, we're only looking at one case here
Mhm.
for a lien. And do we have to discuss or process, like
Well,
vote on anything?
We've been discussing that,
Related.
and that fine accrued to $23,000 on case 0677.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We don't have to cover the other ones?
He already said they came into compliance.
Well,
No, they didn't need
they
it.
came into compliance based on them being dismissed because per Manny's inspection, he found
That's why
that.
I'm
Well,
confused. He's
So-
talking about being dismissed and so.
Did they need a permit for
No, not for electric,
mechanical work?
no, not for mechanical, electrical, or plumbing.
Yeah, none of-
Do we
none of
So we
that.
need to handle each.
Well,
Sure.
let's talk about the,
And plumbing. So the four out of the 5, there was no need for a citation,
Right.
correct?
No, only for case 23-0677.
All right.
All right. So,
so Bill, do we need to vote on the cases that were an actual permit wasn't even required?
Yeah, I'm not sure what you'd do with those. Really, they wouldn't be dismissed, but certainly it wouldn't impose any penalty at all.
Do we need to vote on that?
You probably would be wise, and you
Okay.
probably could do it all as one.
Okay. Well, why don't we do that first?
okay.
So on case 230678, would someone like to make a motion to void the,
Yep, I'll make it. Based on testimony evidence in case number 23-0678, I move this board finds a response in compliance with section 10-91 sub A of the town ordinance and dismisses the case without prejudice.
Second.
okay, that motion's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay,
Thank you.
okay, well, we're not finished yet.
Only one.
0679,
I'll do that one. Based upon the testimony evidence presented in case number 23-0679, I move that this board finds the respondents in compliance with section 10-91 sub A of the town code of ordinance and dismisses the case without prejudice.
is there a second?
I'll second it.
Find a position.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 0680,
I can do that one too. Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 23-0680, I move that this board finds the respondents in compliance with sections 10-91 sub A of the town code of ordinance and dismiss the case without prejudice.
I'll second it.
further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, now we're back to 230677, the structural work that was done without a permit. And from the discussion I heard, the property owner didn't know that she was required to have a permit. But you must have known there was a permit required. That's my opinion, not theirs, not the board. That's just my personal opinion. Okay. Any further discussion?
No, I agree with that.
Well, yeah, I agree with that, but I think if it was leaned in August 11th, there was a lien hearing and nothing was presented to this person until Thanksgiving or just after. Somebody's responsible for that time period,
Mhm.
I feel. And that's probably about 3 months. So let's see.
Well, we can impose the lien of $23,000, or we can reduce the lien.
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion to reduce the lien.
For
More discussion?
90 days at $200 a day is $18,200.
Is that a motion?
I'm just throwing that out. Just,
I don't know how much the room cost,
Um,
but it probably wasn't that much.
No.
Someone like to make?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a motion, and based on the testimony on the, based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 23-0677.
Yep.
Thank you. I move that the board reduce the fine of 23,000, I'm sorry, is it exactly 23,000?
Yeah.
Yep.
$23,000 to $1,000 plus administrative costs if respondent fails to pay the fine within 30 days of this order. A lien against the respondent's property shall be recorded in the public records of Palm Beach County.
Discussion.
I think $1,000 is too little.
I would agree.
I think maybe 5,000.
Can I show you an email saying that it was not mailed to the house? It was mailed to the wrong address?
If you would like to come up and talk with us, Phil, come on up. And you're,
Hi, my name is Milaidi Delgado. So
sure.
Yep.
That's where they mailed the notice. 27027.
as soon as I received the notice, I tried to reach you guys as soon as I could. I did my best to get all the permits done and to pay whatever I need to pay for. So it was not my intention to do any violation in that area. I hear so many good news about Lake Clark Shores. I have 2 kids, 1 year old. I was pregnant actually during the process of being moving. I got in the hospital with the 2 babies and I was not able to move. I got like personal problems. I was not able even being present during the process of moving from my previous house to the new house. But I would like to have to raise my babies in this area. That is why I bought that house exactly. My mom is a Spanish woman. She had no idea about how that's work this country. If she sees a letter, I understand you may not understand this, but she's not capable of opening and read it. And she's very conservative. She's that type of person that she would wait for me to do everything. So that is why I understand how it's possible that we put a paper in the wall and no one's opened that. I understand you everywhere, but my mom is Spanish and she doesn't know how that works. She's actually afraid of opening any letter. So she's waiting for me to do everything for her. She's a major person. I have to understand that. And this is a new country for her. She will never feel that she fit in here. So I have to do everything. At that moment, I was still dealing with my 2 babies. That is why I asked money help. But I understand it's pretty hard for him as well because he has to travel. So he may not be in the property all the time. So as soon as I reached that notice, I saw it actually. I was on Thanksgiving around that time when I moved in. And as soon as I received it, I reached everyone. I tried to pay everything to do the best I could. I think $5,000 is too much money. Just for one person that is trying to move in a new property, have a good quality life in there. And I think it's not a nice welcome to me in that property. It's the way I feel. It was not my intention. I never thought closing that area. My mom requested me to close that because it doesn't have air condition and everything was inside. It was dirty, like not clean proper. And it was pretty nice, small area. It was not my intention. I was like, Manny, please, can you close that for her, please? So she's not gonna keep asking me to close that for her, please, make me happy. Manny said no. So he didn't mention here, but he told me we have to ask permit. I was like, it's very tiny. So he said, well, maybe it's very tiny. It's true. We may not need permit for that. It's very small. This fan that we change now, I would like to mention. I said, we are not gonna do anything without permit. But please know that the person behind us, they're doing a pool and they don't have fan. Everything is open and they have a big dog. My mom is afraid. I have to put a little small piece in there, please. And I feel like it's not a nice welcome to us. People is working and now you have a new violation that you're placing a new fan. I'm not placing a new fan. I already request my new permit, please. I have all person living in my house. I cannot have an area open and a big dog to come into my patio. So I want you to understand all these little details, okay? I already paid for my new permit for the fence, but these persons actually, my neighborhood, they asked me to close the area because they said, Millie, can you please just close this temporary until we make a new fence because they have a permit for the new pool, they have a permit for the new fence as well, but that is gonna take time. And they have a big dog right now.
So So
Yes, sir.
I understand about the fence, what you're saying. But we're going to try to stick with talking about the enclosed screen area,
Oh, okay.
okay? And you asked this gentleman to do the work for you,
But it was,
right? Yes,
it's something small, like.
I know, but you asked him to do it.
Yes.
And you didn't know there, you would be required to have a permit for
I
that.
didn't know, sir.
Okay. And he does work like that? Obviously, you asked him,
Well, I asked him,
but he didn't tell you that you might need a permit?
he told me, I was like, do we need a permit? He was like, it's so small, so women are needed, and it's very tiny because the size is pretty small, and
Okay.
we didn't do any structural work.
So
I
you,
want to remind this, sir, we have a ceiling, structural work is done. It's just to close very tiny area, nothing else. One little tool in one area to the other one, and it's done. If you ask me to remove it, I can remove it myself. I'm a woman, and I can go there and I can remove it. It's nothing like, it's big, huge structural work done in my house. It's nothing done.
so you were dependent upon him.
I was in the hospital and have two twins and
Well, I hear
moving,
you. I hear you.
dealing with the new work and
But you
traveling.
asked him to do the work and he told you probably didn't need it.
No, yes,
Okay.
because also I make pressure over him. I told him, let's do it fast because my mom didn't want to move into a new house.
Okay.
And I wanted to make happy my mom.
Okay.
I was like, Mom, don't worry, when I close it and when I come back, I'm gonna take care of your house.
Okay. All right. I think we've heard everything, haven't we?
I can personally attest to the experience with my mother, who is the same way growing up. So there's
So
consequences.
there's a motion
Yeah.
before us right now for
So,
$1,000 lien.
That is fair. I can pay that. I will appreciate it.
And what I would like to say is they did pay the triple permit fee, and in order to get the letter, they did have to pay Manny about how much?
About the engineer's letter indicating that the structural integrity did meet the Florida Building Code. Usually a letter like that would be $400 or $500.
Okay. Plus permits.
Yeah, I don't mind to pay all the permit. It's just like it's different approach. I don't want to be punished. That is different
We-
than paying the permit,
Yeah,
you know?
We don't mean to.
I want to feel like welcome because that is the way I like to feel. And it has been like so hard for me just to move in the new place.
I hear you. So we have a motion before us. Would anyone like to amend the motion
or
to
seconded.
oppose?
First or second.
We didn't get a second?
No, I'll
Oh,
second.
okay. I'm sorry. I thought we had a second.
Wait,
Okay, the motion's been moved in second to reduce the fine, a proposed lien to $1,000. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Would anyone like to amend the motion?
I'd like to amend it to 5,000.
Okay. Is there a second to amend the motion
I'll
to?
second that.
Motion's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the motion to amend to $5,000, say aye.
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 Motion fails. Okay. Now we're back on the main motion for $1,000. Is there any further discussion? Any further amendments? Ready to vote? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Anyone opposed?
Aye.
I'm for the motion. Okay, so
That's carried then.
that carries it. So the motion is, so it's $1,000.
Thank you so
Hasn't been
much.
opposed. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for coming and talking with us.
Get permits.
We got the permits.
No, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Emily?
Mhm.
Okay, got everything?
Yeah, I got
Okay. Where are we? I think are we on page 4?
We do have other
Oh.
property owners in here. So let me go through the list and I'll tell you who will be next.
Okay, but I want to make sure we're done with all the lien hearing. Yes, okay. Now we're on to unfinished cases.
He's got
Eric, yeah, Eric, who's here that you'd like to?
We have from 1811 Waterway Drive, and we also have from, 1811 Evergreen Drive, and we also have from 8311 Waterway Drive. If we were to do it in order, the next one to be heard would be 1811 Evergreen Drive, cases 230978, 0979, 0980, 0981, and that's it.
That's a lot of cases. Can-
What about 0976 and 0977?
Give me one
Yeah,
second.
0976, 77,
Yeah, sorry,
78.
0976, 0977, and then the other ones that I mentioned.
79, and 80, and 81.
And they won.
That's one
The entire-
property owner?
Yes.
Why don't we let the people with just one case go quickly?
Okay, that would be on the last page. That'll be case 23-1103.
Okay, Mr. James. Okay. So we'll take up 23-1103 if there's no objections. Mr. James, give us 1 minute, sir. And then we'll have you talk to us again, sir.
All right.
Eric,
Yes, sir.
this is a case involving a fence and disrepair.
Yes, sir. All right, good evening. I'm Code Enforcement Officer Eric Richwagon with the Town of Lake Clark Shores. This is case number 23-1103. Property owner identified by David A. James, site property address 8311 Waterway Drive, Lake Clark Shores, Florida. On 12/19/2023, I received a complaint from Mr. James resident who is here also to give testimony in reference to a fence that is in disrepair. Upon meeting at the neighbor's property, she gave me permission to go onto the side of the property and alerted me that Mr. Jane's fence is in disrepair and leaning and has actually caused damage to her chain link fence. Based on the observation on 12/19/2023, a notice of violation was issued under section 34-19 sub 9 sub D. The fence is in disrepair. A notice of hearing was issued on 1/10/2024. And as of today, a reinspection was done, finding that the violations still exist. It's my recommendation based on the size of the fence and of its condition to give 60 days to come into full compliance. If not, a fine of $100 a day may be imposed.
So the initial notice was 12/19, is that what you said?
Yes, correct. Well, the initial complaint along with the a notice of violation.
On 12/19,
Yes, correct.
okay. And it's not been repaired since,
No, the photos you're looking at were taken today. The neighbor allowed me access onto her property.
so Mr. James,
Yes, sir.
what's happened since December 19th?
Well, I had a flu. Was not too happy about that. And it rained many days. And the guy that helps me do stuff like this died. Other than a perfect storm, it is leaning, but it's leaning towards my property, not hers, but it is leaning.
So you're going to do this work yourself,
With help.
not a contractor?
To repair a fence. I
Mm-hmm.
don't believe I need it.
Yeah, that's my question.
Do I? I don't know.
You don't know?
I'm just a simple lawyer. I don't know.
Okay.
But
Do you agree
one of
that,
those photographs, you see that derelict boat? What? I don't understand the.
well, Mr. James, we're going to stick to the fence.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you know that it needs to be repaired
Absolutely.
and you just haven't been able to do it since the middle of December.
I'm working on it.
I'm sorry?
I'll make a loan.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna put a new fence up.
Hmm.
Takes time.
Have you gotten any,
We have a phone call Friday at 10 a.m.
okay, with a fence company,
Lender.
or with a lender?
Oh, for the-
Okay.
Their attorneys.
So you don't even have any estimates on what it would take to replace that fence?
Probably cost, I'll guess around
Mhm.
$6,000.
Yeah, but you don't have any estimates yet.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Board members, if I may,
Yes, sir.
if he's going to tear that fence down, a permit will be required.
Right.
And I don't think it can go as high as it might appear in that picture.
Yeah, it exceeds you're allowed 6 feet on the sides and rear, and then 4 feet in the front.
All right.
Right,
So you can't replace it with the same thing that's there.
right now you have an existing non-conforming by the size of the height of that fence. You've got to look like a stockade fencing with some lattice on top.
Lattice is for a
Okay.
reason.
Then it's still part of the fence and it exceeds the height restriction of 6 feet.
So under the present codes, you can't have it that high.
Okay.
So if you're going to replace it, it has to meet the current codes. Okay.
6 feet.
6 feet.
That's it.
Yep, that's it.
There's no height limit on hedges, though.
But it requires a permit to take it down and a permit to get a new one put up.
No, to take it down because the only reason we need a permit is to ensure that the fence is going on his property.
Right.
The fence is already there. If he's removing it,
Right.
there's no problem with that.
That little space between the chain link, which should be illegal in this town, is the utility easement is about 2 feet. I don't know.
Okay. So Mr. James, you agree that your fence needs to be repaired or replaced?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
How much time?
you agree with the violation. You understand that if you're going to replace the fence, you need a permit. You understand that, right, sir?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Could we hear from the neighbor? She's taking her time to come here. I think we ought to give.
Well, didn't know that she was.
give her a
If she would,
chance to
if she
speak,
would,
she'd like to.
if she particularly like to,
Yeah, she'd like to give testimony.
okay. Come on up. And tell us your name, please, and your property
Yes, sir.
address.
Sure. My name is Nathalie Warren. I live at 1820 Original West.
Okay.
Okay, so I've been dealing with this for more than 3-4 years, and they keep saying, yeah, he's gonna fix it.
The fence?
And it's not being fixed. On top of that, he's got raccoons playing in his nasty green pool that we both smell. His another neighbor and me are smelling this.
Board members, just to put on record, the pool was previously heard. There are running liens on it, so I just want to address that. That was taken to the board, and there are liens on it, so I just want you to know that.
Okay.
Yeah, we've addressed the pool.
Okay.
Maybe not to your satisfaction yet, but it's going to be taken care of, hopefully.
Yeah, so on top of that.
So the fence.
When we had the fence deal, his fence, if you see in the picture, his fence, before it went this way, his fence actually pushed my fence this way. I don't have money to replace that chain link fence that his fence pushed over. And beforehand, if you can see in the picture where he's got brackets, looks like a bracket in it, he was putting those on my side of the fence. And my husband and I said, ain't gonna happen. So we made his buddies take those posts from outside of my fence to hold his fence off. Because he didn't have no right putting those posts on my side of the fence. But every time that there's a storm, I can hear that thing creaking, but beforehand, it was pushing my fence over. We don't have the money to replace that whole section of the fence that his fence destroyed. And they keep saying he's gonna fix it. We've been hearing it for the last 4 years. And it's getting worse. And then he's got trees right there that need to be trimmed. And we're watching fire come off the trees onto the boat and everything because nothing's being trimmed. And even in the back, if you look in the back area there at the corner, everything that's there is in between the back of his fence and my chain link fence. That's also a fire hazard. Everything's going back there and I shouldn't have to clean it up because I don't have palm trees. I'm more worried about my house, our property. But the smell of the pool and the fence is just getting ridiculous. We take care of we do the best we can to take care of your, I'm sure Eric can verify that, but please, this is crazy. This is really, really ridiculous. We got raccoons coming in my yard because it's the way everything is over here at his place. It's not fair to us that we gotta deal with it. I got to close my, my garage door. We leave it open because we only got one window. So we're trying to air it, keep it aired out, but it's ridiculous. Please do something. It's a last.
Okay. We heard you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Eric, I got a question,
Yes,
maybe a little out of order. But you're on this lady's property today or yesterday or whatever it was.
yes, correct.
Were you able to look over the fence to see if that green pool is still green?
No, even if I were to get up near the fence, I can't see through it, and legally, I'm not allowed to look over the fence.
So, Mr. James, you've already, as the chairman has said, dealt with the pool.
Yes,
And we have dealt with the pool, but I want to know if Mr. James has dealt with the pool.
no,
Because that goes into giving him 60 days to fix the fence. I don't think he's going to fix the fence in 60 days if he's done nothing with the pool. I'm just saying that's my opinion only is we got to be a little stricter in time constraints.
I just go off of what we've given for previous. I give my recommendation, and you on the board, decide what you believe is fair.
But it also has to get permitted.
Okay, so
Permitted.
if Mr. James has agreed his fence is in disrepair, he says he wants to replace it, he understands he needs a permit. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 23-1103, I move this board finds a respondent in violations of sections 34-19, subsection 9, subsection D, fences in disrepair of the town's code of ordinances. And if respondent shall comply with the town code of ordinances on or before the March 27th code enforcement board meeting, or a fine of $100 a day may be imposed.
Is there a second? Okay, hearing none, your motion fails. Would someone else like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 23-1103, I move that this board finds the respondent in violation of section 34-19-9D, fence in disrepair of the town code of ordinances. Respondent shall comply with the town code of ordinances on or before February 28, 2024. If respondent failed to comply with this order in a timely fashion, a fine in the amount not to exceed $500 per day may be imposed. A fine assessment hearing will be held on February 28, 2024. I believe this to be
not
a
quite yet.
repeat.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure that you can go to 500.
I think the maximum is 250.
250 would be maximum, yeah.
Except that if it's a repeat violation, and since he's still under violation for another section of the code,
That has to be the same section.
same section of the
Yeah.
code. Okay, then I would reduce the fine to $250 per day.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, further discussion. Mr. James?
250 per day. It's egregious, arbitrary and egregious. That's what I have to say.
Mr. James, if you get the work done,
Oh, I have a question. Since one doesn't grow on trees like it used to, what does the town have to help people like put up a new fence?
Well, I would think that by February 28th, you
Stop
would
with
have,
Mr. Hughes.
well, Mr. James, by our next meeting, hopefully you'll come in, tell us you have contracts to replace your fence. You'll tell us how much it is.
Permit.
You have permits in place, and we can go from there. Possibly the fine can be reduced or removed. No, but we don't have a fund to loan property owners. No, that I'm aware of.
I'm not aware. But it seems. to me
Does that answer your question? We don't have a
It
fund.
did not answer my question.
Okay.
This lady over here wants to find me 250 or 500 a day.
250.
That's crazy.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you disagree. You disagree with that. I understand.
We haven't voted on it yet.
We haven't voted
We
on
haven't
it.
voted on it yet. So it might be
But
voted down.
we're in discussion. Yeah, it could be voted
Could
down.
be voted
The
down.
main goal here is compliance, sir,
I understand.
but it's not,
And I
but you're not
wanted-
offering to comply.
I want a new fence, believe me.
You got the notice at December 19th. It would have been nice if you'd have been here, hey, I'm going after HELOC, great.
I don't believe so. Got it in my pocket. I don't think it was December 19th. Doesn't matter.
It's just a delay, but the bottom line is, it's already been a month and you haven't done anything even to move forward with that. You've had other violations in the past and it seems like,
That are still
I
not in
had the
compliance.
flu. Things happen in life.
We hear you, Mr. James. And what we're doing at this point in time is agreeing with you that your fence is in disrepair. We're agreeing with you that it looks like it needs to be replaced. And we're asking you to come back to this next meeting and tell us that you have a permit and that you have a contract signed to replace your fence.
I'll try to.
And if you can't do that for some reason, then you may be fined $250 a day.
They ain't gonna stand.
Okay,
It's egregious.
okay, I understand. I hear you.
And egregious.
I hear you.
Those are terms of art, you know.
I hear you.
Okay.
I hear you.
Go now.
Yes, sir,
We-
you can
we
go,
haven't
but
voted
we're going to vote on this motion. Are you ready to vote?
Yes.
All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
I,
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Me.
Motion carries. And
No.
Mr. James opposes.
Mr. James, you know you have to come back here next month.
And tell us
and
where you
tell us
are.
Where you are, what you have, so we can fully look at this going forward. I just want to let you know
I
that.
got you. My
Okay.
daughter's name is Wesley.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming in, Mr. James.
All right.
Okay. Eric, where are we?
Well, we have one more set of property owners in. So starting on page 5, starting with cases 23-0976.
In on down.
0977, yes, correct.
Okay. All right. So Eric, why don't you just tell us about 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, and 81?
If possible, because 4 of them are under the same code section, but 2 of them are under multifamily. So if I could start with 0976 and then go to 0977 separately.
okay.
Okay.
All right. Code Enforcement Officer Eric Richwagon with the Town of Lake Clark Shores. This is case number 23-0976. Property owner identified by Carol A. Woods, site property address 1811 Evergreen Drive, Lake Clark Shores, Florida. On 09/20/2023, a notice of violation was issued under code section 125-290. Multifamily home is not permitted in single family zoning.
Eric, can you give us the definition of what is the regulation?
So
2 people per bedroom or something like that?
well, you can't have multiple rooms rented out. Like even if you're living there, you can't have multiple rooms rented out because then it's deemed as multifamily. And Mandy, do you want to elaborate a little more into it?
What we have here, the complaint came in that there was, this house was being used as a multifamily home. And when you have a zoning for single family, anything more than that constitutes multifamily. And that is in violation of the section 125-290, where a single family zoning residence, okay? Unfortunately, at this time, we've tried to make an effort to do an inspection to clarify this situation, but unfortunately, we're not able to do any inspections.
So Yeah, so I initiated the investigation on this prior to 9/20/2023. I was having my own suspicions of the home. So I had issued a violations on 9/20, and I had also reached out to the building department to get Manny to go out there just to, verify, because obviously I can't walk onto someone's property. I can't, request to go in and do it myself. There was someone that called to complain. However, they did not provide me with their information. So anything that they said, I cannot, speak on that. So the notice of hearing for this was issued on 1/10/2024. Just so you know, the violation was issued back in September. Ms. Woods did call town hall, did speak to us. She was not very happy with the violations. So October, not much really got done. November, we didn't have a code enforcement board meeting. So me and Manny had actually talked to Ms. Woods because we understand that situation like this, it's going to, require some time. So it was agreed to give her December as long as she set up a appointment to have a building inspection done. A building inspection was submitted, and then Manny, you were.
Well, yeah, there was two, I initially talked with the respondent for an inspection, and I think there was like in October, November, something initially, the initial request for the inspection. I simplified the violation by letting her know that, look, if you're not in violation of multifamily, let me come in, take a look, take the necessary photographs, and we can dispense with the violation. So she agreed to an inspection, but later canceled it. And then we had another inspection date, which was when? Yesterday for an inspection, and that was also canceled. All we need to do, right now, the violations that she's been cited for are speculation as far as the multifamily, but what I got firsthand when I went to do an inspection on the initial complaint was I went to the door, knocked on the front door, no answer. I went to the door on the west side. A person came out and I asked him if he was the owner. He says, no, I'm a tenant. So then I asked him, well, where do the owners live? And he says to me, the owner lives in the center door, and then another couple live on the east door. So with that being said, I reported this back to Eric, and then Eric, then with that information was sufficient to cite all of these violations, which were electrical, plumbing, so forth, unless they can prove that they didn't do that for the conversion of a multifamily.
And also based on Manny's initial inspection and speaking to the person, he notified me that there are several doors. Manny, what do you call the wood fencing by the door? What do you call that? Like it's like a screening of the door?
You mean right there,
Yeah.
at the fencing?
Yeah, that's like blocking the door.
Yeah, all that is a screening. It screens the entrance door to the west side.
Okay, so there's three doors. Each door has something like that, and each door also has its own separate mailbox on it. Because Manny brought that to my attention, a single family residency would usually have one mailbox, not three on individual doors. I also found it to be unusual to have three separate doors with what looks almost to be like a privacy screening to it.
If the board would allow me. Eric has this picture, and I have a picture of the west side. That's the west side door. And if you take a peek, that's the center door. That's the main, that's where the owners live.
Mhm.
And
Danny, I have better pictures. Dan, it might be more helpful.
I'm sorry.
Hold on.
Yes,
Who-
I want to comply.
Are you Mrs. Wood?
I am.
Oh, okay.
And I'm so hot. Can you turn down the air? Something, I'm about to faint, honestly.
I don't know about that, but
Yeah, no,
let's see.
Is it adjusted, the exact temperature in the room? Can I adjust it or ask someone?
I'm sorry,
to
it's all computerized.
All right.
Do you have a fan or something?
Board members, if I can continue, so based on the evidence and everything, it's my recommendation, seeing as this was initiated back in September, we did speak with the property owner, and they were given a full month of December, and with the 2 inspections that were called off, it's my recommendation to give no further time to impose a $50 a day fine for this case.
Hear from her.
We do have the property owner here, and I believe, is this her son?
Ms. Woods, why don't you come on up and,
This is my son, and he
Okay.
took the oath. He was
So-
sworn in.
so do you both want to come up and talk together, or? Yes, you are.
And is it gonna be posted?
Yes.
On
Yeah.
YouTube.
Am I a public official?
No, you're
No.
not a public
Is that
official.
allowed?
This is a
Yes.
public forum.
So I can be filmed without my permission? Like,
Yes.
there's nothing on the door that says the camera able to film, and then it's gonna be posted.
It's for our residents to be able that unable to attend, and they can watch,
Yeah,
live.
It's published
I just wanted to know.
on the meeting notice.
So you are being filmed.
Oh, thanks so much.
And if you'd like to come up and talk with your,
Am I also-
this was your mother?
Is it gonna be posted for everybody to see?
Yes.
Wow.
So if you would like to come up and talk about, well, you can object.
Do I have the right to not, like, I was never asked,
Well, we're talking about this case.
but you're addressing me, aren't you?
If you would like to come up and talk to us, sir.
You're not compelled to,
come on up.
you're not compelled to testify, and
Am I being filmed currently?
Do you want to talk with your mother or not? Yes or no?
Did I get filmed without my permission?
No, this is all.
Ms. Woods?
Did I get?
You're on public property.
And your mom's filming now, so
Well, I have.
on the video.
I had nobody told me.
Sir, this is a public meeting, and the town's permitted to put it out on the web, and that's what's happening.
Full transparency.
But there's nothing at the door, like in the courthouse, that says you're being filmed, it lets you know.
Ms. Woods, if you would like us to deal with this, you need to come on and talk with us right now.
Well, what I can say is, when you said the Pledge of Allegiance and a prayer and everything, it was wonderful. And I think it would be good to notify.
Hold on a second,
being
please.
filmed.
Sir, you're being disrupted.
But,
You want to sit there and say, be quiet, you're called
no, I'm
to stand
saying,
and speak. You
I'm
can.
I've just been
But
told
you-
that.
you're not gonna
it's
keep standing up and speaking. Either you wait your turn or you can leave.
filmed. I have
That's
to
fine.
leave because I don't,
Okay.
you don't have my permission.
All right,
Scott,
have a good night.
Scott,
Nobody even told me I was being filmed.
All right, have a good night.
You got to
Give
tell
me
the
the
people know they're being
citation.
filmed.
Have a
give
good
me
night.
the citation, please. I need to get the citations from him. I don't have a copy. He
Okay.
has them in his hand.
Well, Ms. Woods, why don't we address the issue of,
Well, board members, just to address the thing, I do have my citation, so any questions she has,
I need to get the citation.
I don't know, can we talk about this without her in the room?
No, I would wait for her to
Okay.
re-enter.
Okay. We can postpone this and go to another case if you'd like to.
When she comes in, she'll be ready.
No.
yeah, board members, we do have, after this one, we have 5 more for this property, so.
and is it, I think Manny, you said that, similar situation where, you have to presume that all of these things are done.
Done.
Okay, thank you.
All
Yeah.
right, now, I have waited an hour and listened to everybody. I'm very impressed. Thank you for serving me as a member of Lake Clark Shores. I moved to Lake Clark Shores in 1978. My home was built 1 year after 1957, the plaque. I think it was the second house built. My neighbor was the first, Harry Massey. You may have heard of him. Now, I waited an hour to talk. Everybody wants to go home, and I don't want to be rushed. That's only fair.
Sure.
Okay, and I really want to hear about your mother. I really do. Maybe we could talk outside. Because I was really interested.
Thank you.
Did you get the pictures?
Yes, we
Yeah, we
did.
saw.
Okay, picture number 1 was taken by Mr. Richwagon. And he violated statute number 162. Here. And I have a copy. Would you like a copy?
Board
I'm
members,
sure he
there
has.
is no violation of Florida Statute 162. All photos were taken
You
from
have
the street.
packet?
All photos were taken from the street, which is in Florida Statute 162. Photos were not taken with me physically on her property.
Here it is. Page 4. I outlined it. Okay.
Want to submit this, I'll make a motion to submit this as evidence or?
For pictures that you provide.
Okay, on page 4, it clearly states that
Okay,
if somebody calls
So-
in,
1 second, Ms. Woods. You gave us this document, 2023 Florida statutes, including special session. Is there a motion to
Submit it for evidence?
submit this into evidence?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I seconded it.
No, unfortunately, you can't.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So now, we've got your document there.
Okay, Paul.
Paul.
Now, I wanted to say that in
Pictures as
2021,
well.
Okay, excuse me, one more second.
Sorry,
My
one
failure.
procedural,
Um, Is there a motion to
Oh.
accept the pictures that was presented from Mrs. Wood's family?
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, now we have the pictures.
thank you. Okay, can I speak? And I wondered how long I have.
5 minutes.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. These are the following citations that I've received since 2021. A tree stump in my front yard. The numbers on my house were not visible from the street, corrected. Tree stump taken out. Pressure cleaning, done. Mailbox needs to be visible, done. Mailbox wasn't straight. The mailbox for my mail from the US Postal Service is delivered on the street in a mail truck, like all of you.
Ms.
There
Woods,
is
may
no walking post.
I interrupt you for just 1 second?
Sure.
Okay. If you'd like to use your 5 minutes efficiently, why don't you talk to us about people living in this house other than your
Sure, But
family?
I wanted to give you a background on how many
Well, if
violations
you,
I've had.
if you want to take up that time, that's your
That
business.
was 7 violations, and recently I've had patchy front yard, hedges needed to be trimmed, and my son, 2 times I had to clean the driveway, 4 months apart, by a professional landscaping pressure cleaning company. The gentleman came in, cleaned my driveway. 4 months later, it had rained and there was mud in the swale, like everybody else, and I got cited again. And I cleaned the driveway a second time by a professional, and I have his card and an invoice. That same professional laid sod on my front yard. All new sod, and my yard looks beautiful. The first picture that I gave you is the behind the fence picture that was taken by Mr. Richwagon, and he's not allowed to go behind a fence. The mailbox he's citing is called a drop box. It's right here on the fence. The medication for my mother goes in that box. It's a drop box. He also told me on the phone that I had air conditioners sticking out of the windows,
Mhm,
which I gave you a picture of.
mhm.
So a drop box and an air conditioner and a door are reasons to suspect a multifamily home. Not only that, though the door was there when I purchased the home, my husband and I. And Mr. Richwagon is aware of that door for as long as he's worked for this town. And I've been cited 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times by Dana and Rich. Eric. So he's been there, he knows my property. Suddenly, he sees a door that he didn't see before, that's behind a fence, sees a mailbox, that's a drop box for medication, takes a picture. That is a violation of my right, and it's under,
Board members, the picture is
it's called the
Mrs. Woods?
right to approach. He has no right to approach the
Mrs.
way he did, and I am positive. Now, Manny has been very polite. Would like to comment about Manny's professionalism. Rich Fagan said to me on a speakerphone call that my son heard, "We have pictures." I was on a speaker call because I was in a car with my son. I had to put it on speaker, so I didn't have to pull over. You can ask him if you want.
Mrs. Woods, do you have tenants?
I can't hear you.
Do you have tenants in your home?
No, I have no tenants. The couple that lives on the other side, that door's been there since my husband had the fire department pull the window out to get him out of there because his spine was crumbling. That door also, Eric, has been there the entire time you've worked here, and Dana too.
Miss Woods,
Point.
Try-
That's a point I'm making.
who are those people that live over there?
I can't hear you.
Who are those people that live over there? You,
Oh, it's my son and his girlfriend.
okay,
The couple, Manny, okay, and the kid you talked to, I don't even know who he is. Did you get his name?
He come out of the door.
What's his name?
How am I supposed to know that?
How am I supposed to know who he is?
I
Is
asked,
he subpoenaed here? Did you call him here? He could come up and talk with me.
Miss Woods, let me just,
Where is he? Why isn't he here?
you're not letting me
Mrs.
speak.
Woods, let's all try.
I'm fine.
Okay, well, I'm trying to be fine too.
So my rights.
You
have been violated
you
here.
only have a couple more minutes,
Yeah,
okay?
Paul, my rights have been violated.
Yes, ma'am, I hear you clearly. Now, there's some
Manny
people,
said he has to come in and take a peek.
now there's some people,
Manny says I
other-
have other kitchens
Mrs.
in my house. Bedrooms
Mrs.
and kitchens and
Mrs.
structural and
Miss-
mechanical and others.
Mrs.
I
Woods,
have a total of 6 violations that are completely baseless.
Okay.
I have always complied with code enforcement. You can look it up.
Miss
I've
Woods,
lived in this community over 50 years.
Mrs. Woods, may I ask you a question? Please?
You asked me with respect, Paul.
Okay, I'm trying to be very respectful to you.
I would appreciate
You
you not
told-
being condescending,
Okay,
as I will not be to you.
okay.
This
You
is my
you
front
told,
door.
you told me that
This is my front door,
you were going to let me ask a question, I
as
think.
long as you've seen the pictures.
Okay. Miss Woods, you just a minute ago said your son lives on the other side?
The other side
Of-
is my house.
Okay, in your house.
Yeah, it's one
Okay.
single family home.
Is there another couple that lives in there also?
No,
So it's,
he
who,
lives there, I live there, my son and his girlfriend, fiance,
so 2 sons and a girlfriend
and me.
and you, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 people?
Yes, and I have 4 children, so for the entire time I lived in the home, I raised 4 children, that's 6.
Okay, so there's only 4 people living in your house,
Yes.
is what you're saying. Okay,
Now, Matthew said he has to come in and take a peek. What does that mean?
okay.
First of all, the whole thing is bogus, based on a false, on page 4, it says, code inspector may not initiate enforcement proceedings for a potential violation of a duly enacted code or ordinance by way of an anonymous complaint. Eric said that in the beginning, correct?
No, that is not correct. You have said,
told me
you
you
have,
had an
ma'am,
anonymous complaint.
ma'am, because the violations were already,
Sir,
the violations were already issued. Manny had already gone out. When we spoke on the phone, I told you that there was a complaint, but they didn't give me their information, so I couldn't use them.
what did I?
I had already enacted an
It was an
investigation
anonymous complaint.
that was not used. Just as when I
Oh, it
present,
was used.
just when I presented
Right
this-
behind my fence.
I did not. That photo was taken by Manny when he went out there to do the inspection and when he knocked on the door and spoke to them. So in records, on record, that those photographs were not taken by me of the mailboxes as Manny approached the door and spoke with the tenant.
So the tenant would have been the son. Is that you?
That's one of my
Those
three
are their
sons.
tenants, right?
And I have a daughter as well, and a husband who's
Sure.
deceased.
Right.
And I've lived in the house since 1978, and the house was built in 1958.
So Manny must have spoken to your other son then.
Can
I
I,
don't know, I asked him, he doesn't even know who the heck you talked to.
can I just ask one question? I knocked on that door. A young man came out and I asked him, "Are you the owner?" And he says, "No, I am the resident here." Then and then I asked him, "Do the owners live on the other side?" He says, "No, that's another couple that live there." Then I asked him, "Where does the owner live?" "In the center door."
So what are we gonna do?
So was it,
That's
Can I-
multifamily, as
Manny,
far
can
as
I
I'm
ask you-
concerned.
did
Can I
it
ask
say
you a
tenant
question?
or resident?
There's 3 doors in that
Yes.
house in the front. I'm just curious if that house, do we have permits, a history of that home having those doors? From
That would have-
from
we have to
initial
do some
construction.
research. But technically, she's got the middle front door. On the west side, you got another front door, but then you go around the side of the house, there's the other door. So there's really only 2 front doors and 1 side door.
And it's been there since I moved into the home. And Eric knows that. And so does Dana, and everybody before you guys came to work here.
Mrs. Woods. You remember,
So an anonymous complaint came in, and Manny came out and went behind a fence and took a picture and violated my rights on this Florida statute.
What was it to get to that fence, the front door? Isn't the front door there though? So to go knock on the door, you pass that fence?
You gotta go around that fence, yes.
So, no, the main entrance of the home, the main entrance of the home. If anybody were to come and knock on that door, they would have to pass that area.
No.
If the fire department were
This is the
responding
front
to a
door.
911
This
call,
is the front door, number
where would they
one.
go?
It's clearly a picture, there it is. See where the garbage can is?
Mhm.
And the bicycle, the front door is just behind there. This is the photo right here.
Behind the fence?
The privacy
Right there, see
screening.
that garbage pail?
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta go behind the
This
fence.
one or
Yeah.
this one?
The left.
Oh, can you show some more photos?
If you walk behind it,
So that's on
the front door is by the fireplace.
so that's the left side of the property with another privacy screening.
The front door
The-
is right by the fireplace.
The middle one
left side
that you
is
just
to the
saw
left.
has privacy
The fence
screening.
that Manny went in is right there to the left with the sign no trespassing. Do you see the air conditioner sticking out the window? Eric actually said to me, you have air conditioners, mailboxes, and doors. You have a multi-family home.
Mrs. Woods, I'd like to ask you a question.
So.
Mrs. Woods,
fi-
Mrs. Woods.
Five of,
Mrs. Woods,
Mr. Hughes,
I would,
5 of these are not even, it's a fig newton
okay.
of somebody's imagination.
but if you want us to get to the end of this, you need to answer my question, please.
Mm,
Okay?
Process.
I will listen.
We
to
have a
you.
process of,
You,
I will
you
listen
say
to
that
you,
there's
and I
only,
will respect
you say there's only 4 people living in your house. That's what you said on the record. Is that correct?
Did I stutter?
I don't know.
That's what I
I'm
said.
just, okay. So there's only, Mrs. Woods, your time is up. It was, we talked about 5 minutes. It's been 15 minutes, okay?
Okay. And
So
the lady who was crying was speaking about 15 minutes too.
I hear you.
Okay.
All
I
right.
really
So,
wanna hear your mom.
so we're gonna,
off,
we're gonna talk among ourselves at this point, Ms. Woods.
Talk to who?
We are going to talk
Deliberate.
among ourselves now, okay? So thank you for coming up here and
What do I
talking
do?
with,
I also-
we're
I
gonna
have an
let
appointment.
you know, we're gonna let
I have an appointment Friday
with,
for Manny to walk through my house.
okay,
It's called a postponement. Eric said I canceled 2 appointments. Yesterday, I was stuck in traffic in Miami.
okay, so you're
So I
gonna,
didn't cancel, I postponed it to Friday.
okay, thank you.
But today's the hearing. I understand you postponed, but now we're having to deal because we're here at the hearing.
That's
So-
why I came to the hearing,
Okay.
because I have to, correct?
So, yes, well, you didn't have to, but we're glad you did.
I'm a responsible person.
Yes, you are.
I knew it was scheduled for today.
Thank you for giving us all the
That's why I was
information.
gonna have the walkthrough yesterday.
Okay. All right,
But at this point, I have come to discover
Okay.
from speaking with an
Okay.
attorney
we got
that
that,
my rights have been violated.
we got that information.
And
It's
the
on
right to
it's on the
approach-
record, Ms.
The
Woods.
right to approach was violated.
It's on the record. Thank you. Okay,
And if you need any further information, I need to know immediately.
we definitely will be
Well,
in
we
contact.
have our
Not
questions.
one day needs to go by.
We're still processing. I mean,
Okay.
we have our process here.
All right.
We're asking questions.
So we're going to talk among
And
ourselves
deliberate.
now, okay?
If I may say one thing,
One more thing.
multifamily is one guess. And then the other 5 citations was somebody's imagination.
Yeah, it's presumption, and he testified as such.
Said it.
Yeah, he testified as
So
such.
there's
It's a
no
standard
way I
process.
want someone to come in my house with a camera,
Okay,
for God's sake.
okay.
And as I said, I've lived in the community a long time. I'm a social worker. You would be very impressed with my resume.
Thank you for coming to talk with us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And I have
So-
all of your names, and I have, if I have any other questions. I
No,
can
we're,
call.
we're still,
Okay.
what's the word?
Deliberating.
We're still,
Deliberating.
this is an open, yeah. So Eric, one of the things one of the first questions I
Thank
had
you,
was,
Ms. Woods. You can sit back down.
was actually the catalyst for the visit. Like what got you there? And
So she is right. Other violations have been issued before. As I've looked at the home more and more, again, I noticed that there's privacy screening on the left side, which I didn't, really understand why it's there, but okay. But then the middle part has it and the side. So I also did notice multiple air conditioners, and
What?
multiple air conditioners. When I did go on,
My ex-controller.
when I did go on
Woods,
onto
we're-
Papa, what you can see from the aerial view is that the house looks very different than all the other ones throughout Lake Clark Shores. So based on that, it looked like possible modifications have been done. Again, me not being able to go into the actual home, I had issued the multifamily because I could see that there looks like
what strikes, pardon, thank you. What strikes you as different about this house than the other homes in Lake Clark Shores?
I haven't seen any other houses with 3 separate doors with 3 separate mailboxes or drop boxes. I haven't seen multiple
I'm
doors.
sorry, I took what you said to mean architecturally or like structurally. Sorry, I misunderstood what you meant by that point.
Oh.
I understand now.
Structurally, because it has, 3 doors with the privacy screenings.
So Manny
Thank you.
or Eric, you have an appointment on Friday with Ms. Woods?
I'm not aware of that.
Oh.
I've not received an inspection notice, and if it's for Friday afternoon, after Friday, if it's Friday, oh, I won't be there. I've got a Board of Adjustment meeting somewhere else. I've never heard. When did you submit this?
The day I couldn't make it, when you were coming yesterday,
Mhm.
I called the girl in your office and I called the code enforcement.
Melissa?
And the girl in your office, is her name Amanda or Amelia or something? She said, okay, I'll write you down for PM Friday. I said, what does that mean? She said, anytime afternoon.
Nope, it's not going to happen. I'll
I'm
tell
so
you.
sorry your office is in disarray. I know you're so busy. But I did not cancel any appointments.
Okay.
I postponed.
Well, one thing,
So you would be able to make a new appointment with Ms. Woods?
Anytime other than tomorrow after, and Friday after. How about tomorrow?
No, I can't. Anymore. Is that okay?
No, by all
Now,
means.
here's the thing. Since I consulted with an attorney and I have the law and I understand and everything, the pictures, and he came to my home, and I also had a general contractor walk through my home and would like a report. Since I
Miss-
consulted with
Miss
an
Woods?
attorney, I will not be okay with you taking a peek, looking for other kitchens, which is so insulting to me.
Ms. Woods? Thank you. Okay.
Manny, and Eric, let me ask you, would it not be in the town's records or whatever, if permits were pulled for the fencing, the doors and the modification, anything that appears that it was modified from the original Since it's at
Permits
home.
would be required, yes.
So
You can
it's,
ask Ms. Woods right now, did you pull permits for
So
any?
I've lived in the home 46 years. So what are you saying?
Let's not.
I'm asking if,
Speak into the
if-
microphone up here, please, if you're going to speak.
what I'm asking is, there's obviously fencing in front of the property, or the doors that are being covered. You have 3 doors that are not in, of the home. I'm curious if permits were pulled for all those items that are obviously
This is my
visible.
front door. Okay,
I'm talking the one, okay.
what are you talking?
There's the fence in the front. There's another door on behind that. In other words, the entrances of the home that you can see visually from outside.
Yeah, that's from the.
So
street.
I would think, and I'm asking our building inspector and everything else, if this would have to be, had been permitted and be in the town's record for all these items that your home currently is showing in those pictures.
I don't have all these items. I have a front door. I have this door, which was there when I bought the house. And the door on the other side, which the fire department, you have a record of. When my husband was pulled out, taken to the hospital in 2006 because he was dying. They couldn't get him out. They took a window out and we put a door in. I'll take the door out.
Ms. Woods,
But all of these are not okay. These are not okay.
the question is not about the doors. The question is about the fences in front of the doors. As you
Okay.
can see, it has no trespassing. And it looks like, I can't see from here, but there might be another fence in front of the middle door. With
Would
those,
you like me to
were-
take the
no.
fences down, Mr. Cook?
No, I'm asking you, were those permitted? That's what the member said. That's
I have
all he
permits
asked
to
for.
put up fences in my yard. It's on record. I don't know. You want to look it up? I don't know. What year was it? 20 years ago? 15? I don't know.
Mrs. Woods,
Yes, I always get a permit. Yes, I have a
well,
pool.
we can
Okay.
research that.
I had a contractor put the pool in.
Okay.
I have always complied with the law and the rules.
That was just a question. It wasn't an
Ms. Woods?
accusation. It was just a question.
Ms. Woods, we're going to ask the staff if they would research your permits, okay, for your property.
Sure, do whatever you want.
Okay,
But
and
I'm
I have
not
a-
letting anybody
I have
in my house with a camera. That is not happening
okay,
because that's my private home.
okay. Ms. Woods,
That's my space.
are you willing to let Manny come in and meet with you at your house?
I may consider Manny, but I do not want a camera in my home, and I would prefer Mr.
Oh,
Ridgeway
okay.
to not come in.
Okay,
With all due respect.
okay, okay.
I mean, I have nothing against him, but I just
So,
violated.
so can you make an appointment with Manny to come and meet with you at your
I
house?
already have an appointment
Well,
on Friday.
okay, well, he can't-
afternoon. His office did not,
Okay, he can't make that.
But you didn't have an appointment then. It wasn't confirmed.
well, could you let your girl in the office give me a call? Because she knows I called her, I know her. She, oh, Mrs. Woods.
Melissa,
Make the last one.
Melissa and Town Hall should have made that. We do not make appointments. My company, all they do is accept the permit
So
request.
Alyssa didn't call you. Did she notify you ever?
What I can tell you is whenever appointments are made, they confirm it with Manny. So we can discuss it with Melissa tomorrow and determine if it was confirmed or not.
I hope everything gets straightened out.
Okay, so we're going
I
to,
didn't cancel anything. I
Ms.
just
Woods?
closed it.
we're going to ask you if you're willing to make an appointment with the staff to meet with you at your house, okay? Now, we're
I
going to
will
go
not
ahead.
have a camera in my home. Mr.
Okay,
Woods.
you've made that clear.
And I will not have anybody but a contractor in my home. And I've also, because Mr. Manny has been very polite on the
Okay,
phone.
so you're willing to meet with him at your
He's a
home?
gentleman.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion here? So we can
Just,
go through this,
I think it,
please.
because of the situation we're in, I think it would be in your best interest to allow someone to come in and check it. You said you're not allowing this, you're not allowing that.
Right.
Prove us wrong.
Okay, Mr. Cook, I have already had a general contractor come into my home and walk all the way through it to get his advice. He gave me the name of his attorney who I called, and that's where I got the information I handed in.
If he's walked through the house and presumably has found no problems, then
No.
open the door.
We're asking for when
Well, let me ask my son, because I'm a senior citizen,
Well,
And I work and I actually rely on the advice of my adult children. This is a math teacher
okay,
here.
all right. We're done, sir. Miss Woods, we're done. Miss Woods,
I will speak to my son about an
you
appointment.
please do that. We have to conduct our business here. Okay. Someone like to make a motion either to postpone?
I'm gonna make a motion to postpone the matter to a later date, to the February meeting.
What would you like to happen
Yeah.
between now and then?
She says she has an appointment with Manny and she honors that appointment, then
She needs to
we
make an
will,
appointment.
I
or-
already have an appointment.
That was canceled.
it's in this,
No, it was never made.
It was never made. It was
You
never-
requested, but it was never confirmed back.
And why didn't your department contact Manny?
oh, that's
Look,
not the.
That's not the point here. The meeting,
That's what happened.
that-
I did not.
there is not a meeting on Friday.
Okay,
Okay,
the question is, when there is a meeting and Manny goes to your home, I'm assuming that what would be in there is that Manny would be allowed to go and walk inside your home and be able to visually walk in and see himself.
Well.
I'm just,
that's a great question, and
I'm just sending because obviously you're saying there's none of that's going on, but
you're.
So my motion would give you the opportunity to host Manny on a visit and he can then view and observe and then report and testify on the next month's meeting, and
Let's
we'll
make
take
that
it from
motion.
there.
Let's
So,
make that motion.
based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number, 23 what? 230976.
76.
You might want to include them all. I assume you'd just continue everything?
Yes,
Yeah.
actually I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. Okay, in that case, if I'm allowed to do that procedurally, then I will.
Go ahead.
Page 5. Thank you.
Or-
All right. In that case, so based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 23-0977, 0978, 0979, 0980, 0981, I-
And 7-6.
Those cases.
No, you can just continue.
and 0976. Thank you. I move that the board continue this matter until the Code Enforcement Board meeting on February 28th, 2024.
And do you want to include anything to happen between now and then, please?
Well, isn't it on,
no, you got to put that in the motion.
If you want Manny and her to get together, you need to include that in the motion.
and if they don't, then the
Well,
order
if they
still
don't, they
stands
don't.
and then we find them in violation.
No.
Well, you really can't order her to
No.
permit him to enter, but, in your
We can-
thinking, you can wait for a report from Manny at that February meeting. And if you don't get it, then you just continue with cases.
Yeah, because unfortunately,
Okay, so
Yep.
your motion is to continue
yeah,
until the next meeting.
until the next meeting. And we can't order it, but I suggest that.
Okay, is there a second?
A second.
Is there further discussion? You ready to vote? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. So we're going to talk about this again at our next meeting, Ms. Woods, and hopefully we can get more information at our next meeting, and you'll come back and you'll talk to us about where we are. Okay. 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 That's on the record. You made that clear.
And he saw it and all the other times he
Okay.
gave me citations, he walked past the doors. These are not a problem. Suddenly I'm a multifamily home.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Woods.
Did Eric get his points? His 6 points for 6 citations from one slam?
Ma'am,
Is he gonna get a raise?
No,
It doesn't work that way, Mrs. Woods.
We're way out of order with that.
I actually,
Yes,
You're way
you're-
out of
you're-
order.
thinking,
You're way out
Ms.
of order.
Woods, we're done.
Mr.
I'm
Hughes,
sorry to,
Mr.
if
Hughes,
I'm
case is
polite,
over.
but we're done.
We're done with your case
We're
for the
done.
evening.
We're done.
We're done.
Mr. Hughes, we're done.
We're done. Thank you.
You have a good evening.
You too. Okay.
Next case.
Would this be 23-1091?
This will be starting on page 1 for the
Oh,
unfinished.
page 1?
Yeah, just because this is for the the fine lien imposition hearing. So this will be for cases 23-0577, 0578, 0579, 0580, and 0581.
Okay.
So this property, it's a rental property. The owners do live in town. I have not been allowed in the back to see, so as of today, the semi truck, I can't confirm that it's been removed. The covered patio that was installed without permits, there are still no permits on file for that. On top of the electrical, structural, the electrical and structural work.
I know.
Hold it, Eric. Hold on. I apologize for interrupting, but I thought you said that this was all in compliance when we started the meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry. No,
When we started the meeting, we went through.
Yeah, we marked all these in compliance.
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, these ones for 1740.
Did we deal with the lien?
We have, let's do this. Why don't we make sure what's in compliance, because that,
Well, he said they were all in compliance. Eric,
and now you're saying.
But they're not.
Now you're telling me you don't know about the semi truck. We don't know about.
Yeah, so let's go over. So for these ones, 23-0577, not in compliance.
Non-compliance?
Not in compliance.
Not.
No, not.
Okay, so let me change this.
okay.
Let's just start with the first case, number 8 on page 1. That's not in compliance.
Not in compliance.
Okay. 23-0578.
Not in compliance.
Okay.
79.
79.
Not in compliance.
80
Not in compliance.
and 81.
And 81, not in compliance.
Okay.
It was marked object lanyard, sorry.
Okay. And now, did you say the truck is still there?
I have not been allowed back there to see since this was heard. There's renters living there. I've knocked on the door a few times.
Have you visited recently, like before this meeting?
I
recently?
went today. Knocked
Did you
on.
get any
on the door.
pictures from today?
No, because it has to be in the backyard. I believe the semi truck was moved because you could see it through the fence line. When I went there today, I didn't. When I knock on the door, I see people come to the window. Once they see me, they just don't want to answer. And I've tried knocking on the door of the property owner because they stay at 7134 Clark Road, and they haven't reached out.
Right.
Okay, so they haven't responded to any of these?
No, there's been no permits pulled.
So we'll have to assume that these are still not in compliance.
Yes, I have to be able to do an inspection to see if the semi truck's there, if the bare spots are there.
And no permits have been pulled.
No permits have been pulled.
So
Okay.
since you did the citation on the semi truck in the backyard, has that been, you don't know if it's there or not?
Most of the time you can see it because of where it's
But
parked.
Today, you can't see it.
No, today I can't see it.
Does that mean that it is not there?
No,
I believe they,
just that he didn't see it today.
yeah, I believe they moved it
Have you
because
seen it now, your travels around, have you seen it anywhere else? Seen it when you've been happen to be going by?
no,
Well, I mean,
And the others are all,
I haven't noticed it in the time, a few times that I've driven past that on. So,
none
But
of,
that you've had no communication from them at all.
no, this was the same property that had other violations and was heard before.
Right.
Now, the permit, let me just jump ahead, the permit for electrical work and structural work,
It'll be for the covered patio.
I know we're not there yet, but
so no permits have been
is that,
applied for.
that was just your summation, like you did at the other one?
No, so this was, when this property was cited before for raw sewage, when the public health department came out, the previous tenants or the current tenants let us into the backyard. I was able to take a photographs where I was able to clearly see the covered patio. I showed the photos to Manny. We reviewed it and he said that the covered patio is definitely not put up with permits. It's not to code. Upon further reviewing, because it does have electrical lighting, it needs electrical permits and it would need a structural permit for the wind load.
Okay, all right.
Can I ask, what is the status of that raw sewage situation? Did they ever get an inspection from the health department?
The county health department never gave me a report on it. That's the only way that it can be closed because ground contamination.
So that violation still exists as well.
Until they get something from the county health department, I can't close it because the county came out and deemed that it was a violation.
So is anything being done to follow up with that? In other words, is the town following up with the county in regards to this investigation with the raw sewage?
It would be up to the property owners to obtain the report.
We could do that.
Yeah, I can contact them to see if a follow-up report was done.
No, I mean, can you get it from the county?
I can try. I mean, the county came out per me reporting them. I'll have to reach out to them to see if they can disclose the report. I mean, seeing as it might be information that only the property owner could receive.
But it's a health violation. Wouldn't the town be?
And if there are tenants there, I would think it would have to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Is there any way, since we do know where the property owner lives, that we could obtain service at that other address by certified mail or by special delivery of all of these violations and the fact that they have liens running?
I mean, they've all been posted to the property. They've been mailed to the same property. I've knocked on the door. We could try certified mail. Certified mail is not a bad option.
But if the tenant is receiving the mail at that address, unless you say you're mailing them to the Clark Road address.
Yeah, 7134 for this property owner. All the rental properties they have, all the mail goes to that property. The physical posting goes to the physical address though.
Right.
So where we are is in a lien imposition hearing. And do we want to impose the lien? A lien?
I think so.
I think so. Clearly.
They haven't shown up. They haven't, nothing. And you've even gone onto their property. Now, have we sent something to I guess what we were talking about now?
Yeah.
Has anything physically being that we know the owners live somewhere else, or has something been mailed to the owners of this
Yeah,
property?
so another case that's going to be heard for another rental property that's owned by the owner, that tenant did reach out to the owner because Manny went out there to do an inspection. So we know that there is some type of correspondence going on, but that's for a separate property.
That's for, because that tenant probably brought it to their attention. Maybe these people, their tenants that live at the violated property are just trashing it. But I guess my question is, I'm surprised we're not sending another, correspondence to the owner's address of record.
I think certified mail would be a good idea.
I think we should be doing both, to be honest with you. That way, I mean, this thing's been dragging since August. So I'm just do we have a procedure where if we know it's an investment property, yes, we post violations on the property and the tenants are made aware, and hopefully they are doing good by giving it to the owner, but shouldn't we also be sending something in the mail certified to
Well,
owner of record's
the
address?
violations are posted to the property and then it's mailed out to what's on PAPA. So it's all being mailed to the actual property owner's address, which is 7134 Clark Road.
Okay, so there is.
If we have a receipt that they received the mail, they sign for it, someone signs for it, then we know they know. They can't say, I don't know, my town didn't give it to me, or whatever the situation might be. It just solidifies our position or the town's position to say, listen, we told you, you signed for it. It said you have this amount of money running on your lien.
Yeah, for this final.
Liens, in this case, multiple liens.
Yeah, for this final order lien that gets printed, this will get sent out a certified mail, and then we'll also physically post one to the property as well. So we'll see if we can't get a certified mail receipt back.
I just want to add that it's not because you send a certified mail with a read receipt that the person has to sign the read receipt. So.
Yeah, it's just that somebody received it there.
Yeah, somebody may be a son or a grandmother or something that signs for it. But
No, but they don't have to sign for it.
Yeah, they don't have to sign for it.
Well, it's return receipt requested, they do have to sign.
No.
I don't know when that changed. Okay, can we request they sign for it?
Are we allowed to deliver
Oh, that's,
trackable mail?
Well,
FedEx or something?
yeah, certified mail is trackable. So we can see if it was delivered to the property,
Right.
but the person doesn't have to sign for it.
Right.
So it could be delivered to the property, but we don't know for sure if it was open, for example.
Right.
can we have it delivered by a police officer?
Service of process. You want a service?
Or do a FedEx or a,
You realize
Any of
they're up to almost, I'm just.
Yeah,
go
it's
by
like
eye,
$75,000.
$84,000
right.
in fines.
Yeah.
And they've not shown up, they've done nothing.
Okay.
I would suggest if we need to have somebody sign for it, send it with FedEx or DHL or.
So are you
Amazon
suggesting
and
we
say
post?
request signature?
I would like to suggest we
Yeah.
make a motion to either
Yeah.
continue this or impose
Right, that's what I was.
a lien, one or the other.
Okay.
lien and petition.
Now, we've been continuing this for a long time,
Yeah, and they've not, I don't think they've, not once.
since August, I believe.
Emily, they have not, have the owners of this property ever even appeared with these cases?
No.
We haven't-
No.
No.
No, we've never
we
had
made that-
Or the cases before this with the sewer?
No, they appeared for the sewage case.
Right.
Yes,
Which is still ongoing and we still don't need.
there's a lien on the property for that.
Okay, then, I say I'll go, I guess, to move forward with the lien.
Okay,
So what is it for the
Number 9.
9.
Number 9? Thank you. Okay. All right. Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 23-0577, I move that a certified copy of the order to impose the lien be recorded in public records of Palm Beach County with such order to constitute a lien on the respondent's real and personal property as provided by law.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries.
I'll do it again. Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 23-0578, I move that a certified copy of the order to impose lien be recorded in the public records of Palm Beach County with such order to constitute a lien on the respondent's real and personal property as provided by law.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Do it again. Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 23-0579, I move that the certified copy of the order to impose lien be recorded in the public records of Palm Beach County with such order to constitute a lien on the respondent's real and personal property as provided by law.
Second.
Is there further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 23-0580, I move that the certified copy of the order to impose lien be recorded in the public records of Palm Beach County with such order to constitute a lien on the respondent's real and personal property as provided by law.
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. 230581. Bottom of page 2.
Oh, yeah. Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 23-0581, I move that the certified copy of the order to impose lien be recorded in the public records of Palm Beach County with such order to constitute a lien on the respondent's real and personal property as provided by law.
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right, now. Page 4.
Well, let's make sure about all the compliance. Page 3, I just want to make sure that.
Well, we just
We
did,
did the Delgado.
Right.
we did that
We
one.
did that.
So were the other ones also in compliance or was that a mistake as well?
No. I think we've dealt with everything through unfinished,
nine.
Number nine.
unfinished cases, number 9. Okay, so 230454, Bellinger Properties.
Yeah, so 23-0454, they're still doing the remodel on the inside. The driveway still hasn't been done. I mean, do you mind showing the photos
I don't have photos.
for 7745 Westlake Drive? Oh, that's right.
No, I don't.
That's
see
right.
it.
Okay. Yeah, so I drove by today, see that they're still doing the remodel. They've got a dumpster outside, but yeah, the driveway is still in the same condition that it was last time.
Are they in contact with you?
I haven't heard from them since the last time we had the meeting. You know, they came in, they understood, they spoke to you, they said that they wanted to do the inside, they just needed time for the driveway. Since then, I haven't heard anything further.
And the board gave them until today, in
Yes.
which to have the driveway done,
Or fine may be imposed.
Yes.
right? Have they been calling for regular inspections on the renovations, the remodel?
Have you done any inspections for 7745 Westlake?
I'm not, right now, I couldn't really answer that since we have like 4 or 5 inspectors and they don't run it through me. I mean, the building official probably might be able to tell us, but I can get you that information for the next meeting, I guess. If that'll do you any good.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to continue. Go ahead and.
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead.
Based on testimony evidence presented in case number 230454, I move this board continues the matter until the code enforcement board hearing on February 28th, 2024.
A second.
Discussion, I'd just like to remind you that the initial notice must have been either in September or October in this case, Eric.
Give me a second, let me pull it for you.
And didn't they say that, hey, January would be enough when they were
Yeah.
here and present? I mean,
Let's see. The
That's what-
violation was issued on 4/20/2023, and the notice of hearing was issued on 10/12/2023.
April.
Yes, April.
It's been 10 months. Well, 9 months.
and they're still working on the
And-
house.
Okay, so we have a motion here to continue, but my question is, how long are we going to continue this?
And they were here in October when we
Yeah, they were here
gave
for the
them
meeting.
until January or a fine would begin.
May
they-
be imposed.
Yeah, they were here. They were the ones who had agreed, saying that, yeah, we're doing the remodel of the inside. We don't want to do the driveway because we do the driveway, you know, it'll get all torn up from the vehicles we're bringing in.
So they're taking longer with, I guess, whatever project they're doing inside.
I mean, the permits for the remodel were issued, so, I mean, again, Manny can find out more. Maybe there's been a delay, maybe a contractor got fired.
Okay, so we have a motion that's been moved and seconded to continue. Do you want to continue with that motion or?
Well, if we continue with the motion, we could, and if it's not resolved by next month, then we can still impose the lien from,
Today.
No,
From
no.
today or tomorrow. yeah.
we can start from today.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if we continue, we're not losing days, right? So I'd rather do a little research and be neighborly because they are improving the property, but they're taking far too long in their schedule based on their last testimony here.
Okay, so the motion's been moved and seconded to continue. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries, okay. All right, 0518.
Yeah, so property 7127 Westlake Drive. This is the one with the big open vacant lot. This was heard last time. Manny spoke on behalf of the said that they could either reseal the parking area or they could remove it. I went out today. They did remove the 2 unregistered vehicles, but the lot is still in the same condition.
Is this the same property that I think we had a discussion about whether or not they could maintain that as a lot since it's not unified with the main house?
Yeah, and Manny had spoken last code board that he did his research into it. And because the property was so old that it's basically was grandfathered in, right?
The tech, well, they built, when the house was being built, it was 2 lots. Yeah, there was no unity of title, and the research revealed that technically they should not have been allowed to put that parking lot there because there was nothing there other than a parking lot, because it was 2 just separate lots. So, and then at a later date, they did do a unity of title because they wanted to do an extension or something to the house. And in order to meet the setbacks, that's when they got the unity of title, and subsequently at this point, there is no violation as far as zoning.
Okay, thank you.
But for them to reseal, they'd have to get a permit or no?
What's that?
To reseal it or fix it?
No,
It
not,
looks like it's
no,
in
no.
disrepair.
Commercial parking, yes, because you would have to have striping and so forth. Private residents like that, no, because there's all they got to do is reseal it. No, patch and reseal. Now, if they're going to remove and then blacktop and what have not, yeah, permit would be required.
I thought I recall that one of you said there was grass growing up through parts of the area.
Yeah,
And to me, that would mean it needs to be repaired.
Oh, well, yeah, repair it is. The parking lot, as you go by, you don't even have to stop. You can see there's sections there where the blacktop is coming off, and yes, it does need repair. The question is it to the point where it would behoove them just to remove it and do away with it since it's not being used?
But if it needs to be repaired
There is yes.
and resealed, would that require a permit?
No, repair work, that's maintenance, that's
Okay.
maintenance.
Okay. So where we are is that the last meeting we said if it didn't come into compliance, a fine of $250 a day may be imposed.
But now we find out that it doesn't have to be resealed, correct?
It has to be resealed,
I thought,
right?
But not with a permit. It doesn't
But
need
not
a
with a
permit.
permit.
But I was under the impression that obviously if they're gonna fix it,
Just like a driveway.
if they were to get a permit, they wouldn't want to give a permit. They would say, listen, you're gonna have to put grass. It would not because, so I was under the impression that if they were to get a permit and to do anything else, they would have to, the code would say, if there's
Well,
no
yeah,
structure on it.
yeah, there's a certain amount of lot coverage, and the pervious and non-pervious percentage for the lot. But it's such a big lot that I don't think that parking would violate anything because they've got that unity of title. That lot now is pretty big.
And the code section was under 34-19 sub 9 sub B. So that's in reference to a driveway being in disrepair. So, I mean, the parking lot driveway is still in a state of disrepair.
is this a driveway?
No, it's not a driveway. It's a parking lot.
Parking lot.
Parking. It looked like they had a basketball court there one time.
It's still there, or the back, you can see it. I don't know if they have net or whatever, but yeah.
Help me understand, like define a parking, like the difference between a parking lot and a driveway in this use here in the use of this house. How is that not a driveway?
How is that not a driveway?
Yeah.
It's a parking area because the driveway in essence is you're driving up to the property. That you're driving off of the house and into this big parking area. It's off, I would just call it off-street parking, but not a driveway.
And does my house have off-street parking?
Do you have a driveway?
Yeah, I have a driveway.
That's off-street parking.
I mean, so what if, like, is it because you could park more than 2 or 4 cars, it becomes a parking lot, or?
Well, right now, it's just off-street parking for a private residence.
Yeah.
A parking lot for commercial use is a parking lot, period. It's got to
Yeah.
be striped and
Yeah,
so
that's
forth.
how
But
I see the distinction, but I mean, what I see may not matter. So I'm just trying to understand.
The definition between what, that big square
Yeah.
for parking,
Well,
it's just
actually,
something that they put in there. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not against the law as long as you meet everything else.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize my questions are actually audible because we've already voted on a fine on this. The board did.
We're in
December
a
6th.
place where we have to decide whether to impose the fine.
Okay, okay, thank you.
So,
Has there been any communication from this family? I know that this family, obviously,
Yeah, the loss, I mean, someone removed the two vehicles, so that was something that was previously cited. Those were removed, so someone in the family, you
but they
know.
haven't responded to you. What I'm asking
No.
is, there's been no
No, they
communication with the
haven't
town.
emailed me, no phone calls.
So that other case where the vehicles were involved, has that case been placed into compliance or did it come back to us?
It hasn't come back yet, but when I went there today, I saw that both vehicles were removed.
So you didn't put it on the agenda?
Mm-mm. No, because it was found today.
produced before yesterday or today.
And I'm going to attempt to, I'm going to try to talk to them to see when they were removed, because it may have been removed prior to today, but today was when I physically saw that they were gone.
The chair would like us to deal with whether imposing a fine or not. Is that what you want to do or don't you want to do it?
Yeah. So
Because it's still a violation.
yeah, the choice is the dollar amount. That's where we do have a choice.
You do have a choice.
And so I would support amending that. And
Well, you can just make a motion
Okay.
to impose a certain amount.
okay, in that case, I would move based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 23-0518, that I move that,
Number 3.
I'm sorry, wrong page. Yeah, number 3, order this. I move that the respondent be found to have failed to comply with the order, finding violation dated on December 6th, 2023. And move that the fine be imposed commencing on such date for $50 a day. A fine in the amount of $50 a day be imposed until, and it shall continue to accrue until compliance is achieved.
And the effective date is, you want to impose it from
Oh,
December 6th?
I'm sorry, I did not mean that. I meant it beginning today, because we can't do that. We can't retroactive. So it's beginning today. Or tomorrow.
We already put a fine. Okay.
So should I be an order to amend?
So you want to impose a fine effective today of $50 a day?
Yeah.
That's your motion?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion.
I think we should amend it to, if we're changing this, what we did, then it should be from the December 6th.
Well, you've already given them to the 24th. So I don't think you can go back and take that away.
Begins today.
Okay. All right.
So a motion effective today of a fine imposed for $50 a day. Further discussion? Are you ready to vote?
Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay. I think we're at
Bottom of page 5.
page 5,
Case,
1091.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Case 23-1091. I am Code Enforcement Officer Eric Richwagon with the Town of Lake Clark Shores. The property owners are identified by Lillian Corian. Property address 1330 South Florida Mango Road, Lake Clark Shores, Florida. On 12/7/2023, a complaint came in from one of the neighbors. Name is Pedro Otero. He wanted to be in tonight, but he had a emergency plumbing job. But it was brought to my attention that there was what was believed to be a raw sewage discharge being initiated in the backyard of this property. I went to the property. Mr. Otero brought me to the backyard, brought me to where the fence was. There was a brownish substance that was protruding from the neighbor side on his property. The smell was of familiar cases, so notice of violation was issued. Notice of hearing was issued on 1/10/2024. As of today's date, the violation still exists. However, this is being managed by a rental company or a rental management company, which the maintenance supervisor reached out to me. His name is Jesus. What was happening was that the kitchen sink had backed up and it was no longer being able to go into the septic. The tenants are there, made a makeshift pipe, so the food residue was going into the backyard. They were not aware of this. They sent a plumber out. They did stop that. The discharge wasn't raw sewage, but it was of raw food. So still not good, but not quite the health and safety of raw sewage. They are pulling the permit for the plumbing to get it fully taken care of. All the rental company's asking for is an extension of 14 days to make sure they do their due diligence. They've been in constant correspondence with me through emails, constantly calling me. And when the work's done, they're going to bring me onto the property so I can physically see it for myself.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to continue.
Before you make a motion,
Sure.
is there any discussion?
No, it was food, not any other type of matter, right?
Yeah, no, it was food, but food does rot, so
Of course.
it doesn't. And again, I spoke to Mr. Otero yesterday, the resident who complained. He let me know that he doesn't smell it anymore, but he doesn't want a status update. So so the neighbor and complainant is still
He's got a plumbing job right behind him. He could just.
he has a plumber.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otero Plumbing.
Ariel, you want to make?
Yeah, or based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 23-1091, I move that the board continue this matter until the Code Enforcement Board hearing on February 28, 2024.
Is there a second?
You said he only needed 14 days, but we don't meet in 14 days, so I guess that's the quickest we can review this. So.
I mean, I could always give you a status update, like during the next, meeting.
Yeah.
I could always let you know, hey, they contacted me on time, or I'll say they
Okay.
didn't contact me till after.
So motion's been moved and seconded to continue this case until our next meeting, February 28th. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
The top of page 6.
Up to page 6.
23-1098.
Correct. Case 23-1098, Code Enforcement Officer Eric Richwagon with the town of Lake Clark Shores. Property owners identified by Faiza Y. Mishrecki, Mina S. Mishrecki, and Michael S. Mishrecki. Site property address 7133 Clark Road on 12/13/2023. A notice of violation was issued for section 125-767. Cargo trailers are not permitted to be stored in the driveway. A notice of hearing was issued on 1/10/2024. During the posting, the trailer had been moved from the driveway to the side of the property. However, because it's a cargo trailer, it is required to be screened from view. I spoke with the tenants. They advised me that, well, there was a bunch of building material in there, so I was under the impression that there was work being done inside the home. So other violations were issued, which Manny went out to do an inspection, was able to do a walkthrough. No work was done. What they're using the cargo trailer for is they run a business, they do construction, they fill it and they bring it back. They were informed that you can have it there, but it has to be screened. Reinspection of today's date, which these photos were taken, showed that the trailer is on the side, but it does need to be screened.
Are they operating a business from this address?
No, they're not operating the business. What they're doing is they're bringing the cargo trailer home with them with the materials in there.
Have they done similar violations of this in the past? Do they have a history?
Of the cargo trailers or trailers?
Yeah, just cars, trailers in the.
No.
other-
No, I mean, on
Right.
Clark, on
Repeat
Clark
offenders,
Road,
What I'm looking for.
what was that?
Are they repeat offenders?
No, they're not repeat offenders.
Not the tenant anyways, but the property owner seems
property.
to be.
For 7133, no, this is the first time that I'm bringing before for a cargo trailer or a trailer of any kind.
But the owner has been cited before.
The owner has been cited, but not for cargo trailers. They've been cited for work without permits and raw sewage.
We
On the
talked
other-
about them earlier
Page one and
tonight.
two.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we
Well,
did.
with everything that went with the town for the all new town ordinance and screening and all, I mean, they gave them a reprieve and, yeah, they've had plenty of time.
Would someone like to make a motion?
Yeah. I will. All right, based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 23-0198, I move that this board find the respondent in violation of sections 125-767 of the Town Code of Ordinances, and the respondent shall comply with the Town Code of Ordinances on or before February 28th of 2024. If the respondents failed to comply with this order in a timely fashion, a fine in the amount of not to exceed, and I think what do we have for fine?
It's not on there.
It's not
I'd recommend $50 a day.
Screening.
50,
Yeah, screening's not on there.
$50 per day may be imposed, and a fine assessment hearing will be held on February 28th of 2024.
I'll second.
Further discussion?
I think Jerry said it was 0198. And he said it's 1098. You would just transpose those. I think that's what you said. I could be wrong.
Okay.
I'll be glad to.
Yeah, it's, so we're on case 1098.
Right.
Okay. Is there any further discussion?
We're good.
One's with me.
You ready to vote?
Yes, sir.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Case 24-0001.
Yes. Case 24-0001, Code Enforcement Officer Eric Richwagon with the Town of Lake Clark Shores. Property owners identified by Joseph M. George and Jamie A. George. Site property address is 7301 Venetian Way. On 1/3/2024, a notice of violation was issued for code section 125-767. Cargo trailers must be stored within a garage or carport or stored behind the front line of the home and must be screened. A notice of hearing was issued on 1/10/2024. A reinspection of today's date finds that the violation still exists. It's my recommendation to give them 20 days to come into compliance, and not a fine of $50 a day may be imposed. I have spoken with these property owners before because they were cited for the same trailer. They did move it, but now it's back. So there's no physical house behind those bushes. And when I spoke to the owner, I explained to them that with the new ordinance, it has to be screened. I told them they could, park it behind there, but they don't want it to be behind the hedge area because they said they don't want to look at it. So
They don't
Is
want
it
to.
a repeat violation?
no, because it was a notice of violation. I spoke to the owners. They did move it, so the violation was closed, but I saw the same trailer come back. So now it was issued. Now it's still there. So now it's being presented to the board for the first
Okay.
time.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion?
Well,
Oh.
There is no house there. Let me just say, I've driven by there
Yeah.
numerous times.
No, there is no house. Yeah.
There is no house.
Right, it's just a lot. I know which one it is, yeah.
It's way back. It's not out. I don't know.
Oh, bottom
So-
line, yeah, you can't.
So you're saying that there is not a house at this property?
No, but there is a mailbox with the address on it. And if you look back there, it's kind of hard to see, but where the bushes are, there is a fence. I'm a little more to the right, right there. Yeah. So there is a fence to enter the property. But there's just no house there.
There is a fence. There is no house.
Yeah, there's no house because there's a mailbox all the way to the left.
So how can it be behind the front line of the home if there's no home?
It
It's-
says
it's-
you still have to have it covered and
Yeah, so
screened, so.
it's on the property and technically that's the driveway.
So what's the solution for them?
The solution is they could keep it there if they screened it, or if they put it behind the fencing, because they have the hedges there. So if it's behind the hedging, then it's properly covered. Or the last option is to remove it.
Okay. Okay. Someone like to make a motion?
I'll make it. Let's make sure the number this time. Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case number 24-0001, I move that this board find the respondent in violation of section 125-767 of the Town Code of Ordinances, and the respondent shall comply with the Town Code of Ordinances on or before February 28th of 2024, and not to exceed $50 per day may be imposed. A fine assessment hearing will be held on February 28th of 2024 if necessary.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay. 24-0002.
Yes. Case 24-0002. I'm Code Enforcement Officer Eric Richwagon with the Town of Lake Clark Shores. Property owner identified by Max Marion. Site address 1500 Coranda Circle, Lake Clark Shores. On 1/3/2023, a notice of violation was issued for code section 125-767. Boats and trailers are not permitted to be stored in the driveway. A notice of hearing was issued on 1/10/2024. Upon posting the notice of hearing, the property owner did come out. We had a conversation about the boat. They're in the process of selling it. They liked it, but they don't have any more use for it. So they're asking if the board can give them 60 days to be able to sell the boat with the trailer. It's my recommendation to give them the 60 days, seeing as none of the neighbors are complaining. It's not a health and safety issue. And I did inform them that after the 60 days that a fine could be imposed, and they were okay with it. So if not removed after 60 days, I would ask for a fine of $50 per day may be imposed.
Our code says you can have it there for 72 hours, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
And then you have to move it.
Yeah, well, they presented that they want to sell it. They're having difficulty selling it. So that was what they were asking for.
Okay, but they could, hear me, they could leave it there for 71 hours, move it for a day and put it back for another 71 hours, correct? Question?
No, I believe you can have 72 hours per month.
Per month, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not having this, unfortunately, I'm not into the 60 days, and I'm sorry that they want to sell it, but all of our neighbors, everyone else that's driving by knows that this has been a huge town issue.
Mhm.
And we went months. I think that's gonna give the wrong message, and it's not conducive, because now you're gonna set precedents. If I'm, 60 days doing something like that, I'm not in favor of that. I'm sorry to say. I think you just gotta stay within town code ordinances. And unfortunately, they should need to put it in storage or somebody else's house, I'm sorry. Or put it on the lake.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, the way the property is, they can't even get it on either side, because that was also my recommendation, was to put it in the water, or if they had a dock, and they do not.
Okay.
So the boat has been somewhere else prior to this?
The boat has been there for quite a while. It moved maybe a handful of times, but the last couple of months I've seen it there, and it seems to be in the same spot now,
Okay.
because the driveway.
During that moratorium that we've had in a year and
All the
everything.
conversations we've had over that, I
Yeah.
agree with you, Jerry.
I think, yeah.
Would someone like to make a motion?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion. Based upon the testimony evidence presented in case number 24-0002, move this board finds the response in violation of sections 125-767 of the Town Code of Ordinances. Respondent shall comply with the Town Code of Ordinances on or before next month, February 28th. If the response failed to comply with this order in a timely fashion, fine in the amount of $50 a day. Not to exceed $50 per day may be imposed. The fine assessment hearing will be held on February 28th if necessary.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Someone's going to give, Eric, you're going to give us a update on the,
Yes, I am. And we have a pretty good update. So 23-0853 is now in full compliance. 23-0856 is in full compliance. 23-0859 is in full compliance. 23-0865, they're still working on it, but they're staying in correspondence with me. 23-0882.
can I stop you there?
Yes.
Any idea when it'll be coming into compliance? Do they give any idea how
They
long?
said that it should be done within the allotted time, if not, prior to the date.
Okay.
So 23-0882, they've stayed in correspondence with me. They're currently doing bidding to find who they want to do the job. 23-0886, the entire building is being remodeled. Permits have been issued, so construction's underway. That's the one for the school, 1501. So that one's coming along nicely. And then 23-0887, same thing. He's been in correspondence with me. They had someone come out the other day to walk the property to see how many parking spots they need. They should come into compliance in the time frame. And then the last one, 23-0890, I spoke with the property owner, and I'm on their chain for the email. They should be up and going soon because their ADA lawsuit is almost complete.
And these are all different properties that you've, right, all these cases,
Yes.
but they're all similar. They're all
It's all for the
parking
same thing.
lots.
Yeah, they're all for
commercial
the parking lots
lots.
and restriping.
I recall them.
Yeah. And if you
And-
go by 1870, 1860, 1850.
Which one, pardon, which one is the apartments on Forest Hill there?
That is the apartments. That's well, there's 1755 Forest Hill.
No, the 14. I can't remember the white villas with red tile, barrel tile roofs and brick.
Oh, they had already done their parking lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were violated, but they came into compliance before a hearing.
Okay. Thank you.
And the last thing I'll present to the board is the code enforcement 2023 stats. If you would like me to read it.
You got it.
If
Happy
you'd
to
like-
read it at home.
If you'd like to.
I'm happy
Well,
to take it
show us
home
how
with
good
me
you-
to read it.
Would you, go ahead, Eric, tell us.
Okay.
Tell us.
So for
busy?
2023, from February till December, total code violations issued were 1,447. 1,385 of those came into full compliance. There are currently 62 of those cases which are still active, some of which have been heard tonight. Work without our permit, 92 were found to be in violation, and triple fees were assessed through the building department. Health and safety violations, there were 5 issued. Illicit discharge violations, there were 3. Hearing notices issued for the year were 88. False alarm fines, 34, which resulted in the amount of $2,525 being collected by the town. Ordinance violations, which warranted a fine post-warning. 9 of those resulted in an amount of $950 that was collected by the town.
Just curious. So you're telling me there was 92 violations, work without a permit, and that the building, it triples the fees? So if someone's caught without, working without a permit, the
Yes,
fees actually tripled?
yes.
Quad fee.
Oh, sorry. It's a triple or quadruple.
Okay.
So those were 92 that they came into compliance by pulling the permits, and they were hit with the fine assessment fee.
And then on top of that, whatever contractors or whoever was doing to try to do that, it's also, if I understand correctly, reported to the state, or how's that handled?
The county's license and regulation department, they get notified by the building official that they were caught doing work without a permit. And then after, I don't know how many citations like that they get, their license gets suspended for designated time, and if it continues, then I think they get 2, and then they lose their license.
Thank you for that clarification.
I have a question for Mr. Lobello. Could you remind us, when fines are collected or liens are collected, where does that revenue go? Into the town's budget?
Good evening, board. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, that goes right into general fund revenues.
Okay, is that a specific?
Building department does not. Permit fees, you cannot make money on permit fees. So you have to actually justify the expenses, but not on these kind of fees. No, goes right into general fund.
So when the triple fees are collected?
That, again, anything with the building department, you
Mhm.
have to justify your expenses. So after a long period of time, you actually have to return the money back to the contractor, or you have to produce more fees. You have to have a rolling total. Has to be on your website and all that. It's a state statute.
Does everyone understand that? Yeah, okay.
Interesting.
All right.
Sorry, I got a cold, so.
No.
Well, I understand it. May I ask a question, or you have
Sure,
anything
oh,
else?
go ahead.
I'm just curious if we can bring back the picture on the property at 7301 Venetian Way, 24-001. That's the one with the, just a hedge. I understand from the history of that property, I guess there was a house there at one time. I don't know if it burned down, whatever the case may be. I'm just curious, I know there's a certain amount of time, but doesn't eventually the homeowner need to, I guess, put back the property or the home or whatever, or you just can it's okay to leave it as a vacant lot and now the town has obviously less revenue or whatever? I'm just curious. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand.
You can own a vacant lot.
You can own a vacant lot.
Yeah, I don't know why not. Yeah.
Yeah, there's,
No, but if it was previously, so there was a property or a structure on there, then it,
That's,
I'm not-
They couldn't, my understanding would be if there were an accessory structure there, they couldn't maintain the accessory structure without a primary structure.
Correct.
Or something to that effect.
but they can maintain a
A
vacant lot.
okay. Just curious. I've always-
To include a dock or boat lift.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks again for what you're doing.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions, updates? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Motion's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
And our next meeting is on a Wednesday.
Hold on.
It is on a Wednesday.